Chrissy and Patty riding to the north, their horses' bellies to the ground as they raced along. Leverage. Johnny suddenly realized Turl was trying to get back his leverage. If he could recover his hostages, he might bring pressure on Johnny. Johnny flipped open the local command radio. Sure enough, Turl's voice.
If you don't go down there and land, animal, I'll kill them both!
Turl was right ahead of him, dropping down to about 4,000 feet. Johnny hit his keys. He estimated exactly where Turl would be. Johnny's battle plane slammed into the back of Turl's. Johnny closed the switch for the magnetic grips. The skids of his plane locked to the back of Turl's. Half deafened by the thud of contact, Johnny stepped up his speed control to hypersonic. His motors shrieked. He punched in coordinates to compare with 6 feet underground, directly below them. He glanced over the side to see that the riders were clear of that spot. They were. The motors of both ships were screaming in discord, fighting against one another in howling dissonance. They jerked and wrestled in the sky, suspended in space. The motors began to get hot. Very shortly, they would burn and explode. Johnny reached back for the jetpacks. The straps had already been shortened. He shrugged into it. He made sure he still had Turl's belt gun. He took one final glance at the keyboard. Locked in. 6 feet underground, directly below. 4,000 feet down. Speed control at hypersonic. Johnny dove out the plane door. The air bit at him as he plummeted down. His jets barked alive, and the descent slowed. By swinging his legs, he went up to a higher altitude. He looked at the locked and fighting ships. He had expected that Turl would bail out. The outcome was inevitable. The ships would explode. He was counting on Turl's having no belt gun, and he intended to hunt him down in a jetpack or on the ground. But Turl didn't bail out. Johnny could see him battering away at his control console. Johnny, holding in space with his backpack jets, had the sickening feeling he had made a mistake. Turl, after all, knew cyclotactics backward. What Turl was doing in that jerking, fighting mess where one ship's motors fought the others was trying to outguess the settings of the plane that rode his back. If he could, both motors would agree. Possibly then, a quick roll and reversal of the settings would throw the other ship off his back. The smoke from those conflicting motors was already beginning to rise in the battle plane Johnny had bailed out of. Suddenly, Turl got the combination. Both ships' motors smoothed into shrieking agreement. But Johnny's combination was straight down and 6 feet under, hypersonic. At an abrupt 2,000 miles an hour, both ships hurtled toward the Earth. In an instant, Turl apparently realized that this set of console coordinates was sudden death. Johnny could see him in the cabin, moving urgently. With only 500 feet to go, Turl frantically punched in the reverse combination. His ship motors went into a fighting howl. The inertia of the mass carried it down to within 20 feet of the ground before the descent halted. But the force on the hot motors was too great for them to overcome. Both ships burst into an orange ball of fire. Turl's body hurtled out of the door and struck rolling. The ships struck. With a swing of his legs, Johnny headed downward into a dive. With a thumb on the jetpack throttle, he guided himself to land about 100 feet from the fiercely flaming wreck. Turl was still rolling.